All right. Well, bibliophiles, we're going to break it down. Today on the show, I'm thrilled to be talking to Amanda, better known as A Novel Adventure. While my reading tastes lean more specific, Amanda's wonderfully broad scope keeps me grounded and aware of everything else going on in bookish. She's got a wicked sense of humor that perfectly matches mine, so you can bet we at least spend half the conversation laughing. Hey, Amanda, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much again for taking the time. Like, I really appreciate everyone taking half an hour out of their schedule and talking to me about all things bookish.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
So, to kick it off, a novel adventure. Like, how did you come up with your handle?
Yeah, it feels pretty 2024, 2023, where I just typed into Chat GPT, like, I want to come up with a clever book name. And then I told it no, I mean, 1,000 times. I was like, no, too cliche, too broad, too boring, too. Um, and so I like the A at the beginning because my first name is Amanda. And so that felt like a double, novel adventure and also my novel adventure. Um, I like that it has, novel because it's books. I do mostly read like fiction, and I feel like it kind of helps classify that it's going to be bookish by having novel. And then adventure feels like it kind of included anything that I was going to do. I mean, I started with only posting just reviews because I was crazy and thought I could post a review every day. I don't know. And so I feel like adventure has kind of helped to include as I change what my scope is. So it feels like it kind of is all inclusive. So that's where it is. And I really like it. It feels good.
I do too, because like you are an adventure. Like I see like your reels and they always make me laugh. Like it's always like, okay, Amanda posted, it's gonna be good. So I do feel like, especially because you have such a broad range too, like it is an adventure. Like, okay, what is Amanda reading today? What is the update? What is the situation?
Yes.
Um, so have you always been an avid reader? Like what was your reading journey throughout your life?
I would say classic first daughter syndrome of I read a ton growing up and then I stopped having time to read slash stopped being required to read almost. And so I probably took a solid 10-year break just from books. And then I feel like it's just like the typical standard. One of my friends was like, "You should read Akatar," and I was like, "I don't know. I just am so tired of I was like, I don't know. I can't remember. I think I had just recently had a kid, and I was like, I just don't have time." She was like, "No, you should read it." And I was like, I don't know. And I literally remember her being like, uh let me know when you get close to the end because you're going to want the next book. She like let me borrow her book, and I didn't realize it at the time, but she let me borrow like the OG copy, like they are the original covers, and I didn't understand that. I mean, I'm a responsible person, so she was in no way, it was safe. But and so I was like, oh my gosh, I'm 3 chapters from the end, like get your book ready. I remember like driving across town to her house and like going into her house. She was like, I set it on the banister at the bottom of the stairs because it was late. I probably went over, it was dark outside. I mean, so I like went into her house and got the next book. And so, yeah, so A Court of Thorns and Roses really kind of kicked it off. And then I was like, well, let's read, she was like, oh, if you like that, you should read Throne of Glass. And so then I read that whole series. So I just kind of like went on a Sarah J. Maas bender and I was like, look at this. There are so many books out here. So yeah, I would say I was a huge reader growing up, and then I kind of took a break, and then I came back into it. I also have always loved thrillers, and so I probably didn't give up reading entirely, but I certainly hit a point a handful of years ago where I was like, "Oh, this is my personality now.
Yeah.
This is what I'll talk about forever."
You know, it's funny. So like I was like you, like I read a lot and then I took a pause, but like when I was getting back into it, so my best friend in the entire world, godmother to my daughter, her name is also Amanda, but she goes by Mandy. Her
Mhm.
mother's name is Amanda. Like every Amanda that's come into my life has been such a phenomenal being. But she
Yay.
was like, "Hey, I know it's not your jam, but you should read A Court of Thorns and Roses." And I
Mhm.
was like the biggest hater of book one. I'm like, her name, because I'm also very bad with pronouncing words just because I
Oh
read.
yeah.
And I'm like, her name is Farah, which is like fairy, and this is a book about fairies.
I don't think
Uh,
I ever made that connection.
But I was like, also like, this is just kind of Beauty in the like it was fine, but I was like, I
Mhm.
don't get the urgency around this. Like,
Mhm.
I just don't get it. And she was like, Kendall, like you have to read book two. And if
Mhm.
you still don't like it, like there's something wrong with you. So like I'm a diehard. If you are trying a Court and Thorns and Roses series, you cannot give up until book two.
Mhm.
But yes, so that was actually like one of the last books I read when I got on my slump. But yeah, I understand like how that like that is such like a trophy series for people where it's like this isn't one of those things that like you're in, it's like you are in. And I think too, like with our corner of the internet, like, the fandom is so passionate. And there's
Mhm.
other people too, like Frida McFadden is having a whole moment. So it's like there's some great things that our community is doing, but I was wondering like your take of like, what inspires you to stay on Bookstagram? Like what inspires you to continue posting and stuff? Like what do you like about the community?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think, first of all, I love feeling like I relate to other people. Like when someone posts a reel and I'm like, oh, that's me. Okay. And sometimes it's funny. I'm like, oh, I do that. And other times I'm like, oh, it's me. And so I love that. I also really enjoy connecting with people. I feel like initially, well, super early on, I was just bumbling around having no idea what I was doing. And then I feel like now I've kind of come into a space where I'm trying to connect with people and post things that I like and not just because it's what I think the algorithm wants, because I mean, I just don't have time to track it? Um, and so I would say there was a middle part where I was like, I need more followers and I need to post da 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 and I need to, hit these check marks. And so I feel like I've kind of moved through that phase of urgency almost. And now I'm
Mhm.
trying to make sure that I enjoy it, that I'm still posting for me. So I do things that I think are funny. And if I think it's funny, I'm going to post it. And I like connecting with people like you because it makes it feel more real and less
Mhm.
internet. Um,
Mhm.
And also, I mean, I just might already have a mountain range TBR, but I mean, I can always add more. And so I'm a big fan of hearing what other people are reading and adding it to my list. And I could read it, like next week or in 3 years, but it's on my list, so it's fine.
You know what's funny? So in the previous episode, I talked to Susie, aka Witch in her book, and she was talking about how like she used to be so hyper focused on like her post not looking right, and she would delete it and read, and it's like girl, look at my feed. Like it is just it is what it is. So like I feel like there is the blend of like people that are like the aesthetics and like they're basically like free promo for these publishers of how beautiful their stuff is. But then
Mm,
there's like the meat and potatoes too. Um
yes.
like I think like for a lot of your stuff you're a little bit of both. Like a lot of your posts are beautiful, but like also you have the reels that show like the the funny side too.
Yes.
But I'm kind of hearing that as a trend of like, the followers, the likes, the
Hmm.
engagement and the algorithm. Like, I don't know if anyone from Meta is watching, like you and me like need to talk about the algorithm because Amanda and I have already talked about how like it's kind of like whose line is it anyway? Like the rules are made up and the points don't matter. And
Hmm.
I see people like being like, oh, this is the change to the algorithm. And it's like, how do you know? And they're like, oh, Meta announced it. I'm like, they don't even know, it seems like.
Yes. Yes.
Um, but what do you think, I guess, could the community do better? Because not everything on the internet is entirely pure and lily white. So what in
Mhm.
your experience do you think you wish the community did more of?
Yeah. I think this will be a hot take, but I would love to just see the end of like engagement groups. I feel like that middle chunk of, in the beginning, I was just bumbling around. And then there was this middle section where I was like, oh, I need to be in all of these engagement groups and I need to follow all the hosts and comment the thing and make sure I put all follow back and make sure comment for comment, like for like, follow for follow, which it just made it feel so much more transactional and ingenuine and like they weren't real connections. And so I think that at some point I was like, Amanda, you're going crazy. Like this isn't fun. This feels like work. This feels like you're trying to, while it is nice to have followers, it is better to have friends. And so I feel like at some point I was like, this is not fun and I need to reevaluate. And so now I feel like, oh, I like look forward to seeing your post. If you haven't posted, I'm like, where's Kendall? Why is it not coming up? Or I have a friend in town, Katie, and I'm like, where's her post? I know she posted today. And so it feels better going in looking for the people I want to see,
Hmm.
as opposed to people being like, you didn't follow all of the hosts, so we're going to remove your comment.
Yes.
I understand, and I still feel the like, it would be nice to have more followers, but it is just nicer to have real connection and have people that you actually enjoy. And so I would love to see engagement groups just go away. It would just be nice to not have them.
Yeah, I agree. I think it inflates like voices that, otherwise would they? And like
Right.
so personally, so I've been off and on Bookstagram. I've really committed to it since August this year. And someone that I know well, like since I restarted was like added me to a chat. And I was at work. So like I was like, oh, I got added to this thing. Like I think it's an engagement group. So I scrolled and scrolled and scrolled. And like I'm like, okay, these are the rules. Like this is weird. And I just put it down because I was like, I'll just deal with that later. And like I am the person like, did you mean to?
Hmm.
And I got kicked out. And it was like, this was within, I don't know,
Why?
4 hours. And it's
Uh-huh.
like, are you that upset with me that like I didn't engage? This is this a hobby? Is this a passion? Sure, but like at the same time, it's like we also have real lives.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I remember the like you must post at 11:45 a.m. And I was like, I am teaching math at 11:45 a.m. I do not have time to pull up my like, hold on, children. Wait one moment. you know.
I'm
So,
turning off Miss Amanda and I'm turning on a novel adventure.
yes.
But no, I agree. I agree. I don't know what we can do about that though, but I do echo your statement that I wish those would go away. It is exciting to see like when people are like, I'm part of this publishing groups and like,
Yes.
when they get like PR boxes and really cool stuff. I love seeing that, but it's just when it's like follow for follow, like for like, I'm like, it's
Yes.
not my thing personally, but I understand why some people do it.
Yeah, I agree. I also feel like it's helped to clean up my feed because when you click on them and engage with them, then you get more of them. And so then I was like, I'm actually not even seeing books or people talking about books. It was a very dark time in my bookish,
When you come to the light, you
come to the
escape
light.
through.
Come to the light.
So, I gotta ask about a certain book we've talked about.
Oh gosh. Oh no.
Um, it, I was recommended to read, done and dusted, and don't get me wrong, I adore the person that recommended it to me.
Oh yeah.
Um, but I was done by like 53% in.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to ask because, you know, what do you look for in like I know you don't just read romance, but like in romance books, you're the first guest I have on that reads those, so you get to have my question about this. But what do you look what is satisfying about romance? Like why do you think it gets a bad rap? What do you think people don't really understand about romance books?
That's a good question. Hmm. I think that to start, I like both romance and dark romance. Uh,
Okay.
and so if I'm thinking dark romance, I want my villain to be maybe not redeemable, but I want to buy it. Like if he's a bad guy, I want him to be a good bad guy, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Like Hooked for Emily McIntyre. I mean, he's a bad guy and I don't care. I'm for it. It's fine.
Okay. Okay.
Um, so when I think about more contemporary romance, I think I want there to be maybe sparks or tension or even just believability. I think that my least favorite thing that happens in romance is when they're like enemies to lovers. And I'm like, they're not enemies. Okay, enemies are when the princess from this kingdom and like the prince or the king from this kingdom who are at war. I mean, they're enemies, or like a fae and a human in a world that they don't get along. I mean, that's enemies to lovers. And so when like a contemporary romance has enemies to lovers, I'm like, no, you're not. That's not real.
I can't wait to hear your feedback about Safari Murder Party then, because I totally said that was like an enemies to lovers. I
Oh
may
yeah.
be, but that's the thing though. That's like what I enjoy about Bookstagram because like if I'm wrong, tell me. But like
Yes.
your thriller girl is trying for her romance bestie. Like,
Yes. And I would say like I don't mind like a soft enemies to lovers, but
yeah,
when it is like the only point of what will they, won't they can't, they're not, I can't remember the name of the book, but I read one that was like the town mayor and the new business owner. And I was like, they're not enemies. Like it's fine. They're both adults,
they just have conflict. It's okay.
Yes, yeah, maybe that's what I'm saying. Is like conflict for me is not the same as enemies to lovers.
That's fair take. But I do
So
have. So have you either read the Hannibal books or have you seen the original movies with like
oh,
Anthony?
I haven't. Why?
Oh, okay. So like, first of all, are you okay with the spoiler?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Spoiler alert. Insert here. So do you know about Hannibal Lecter?
I mean, he's a cannibal, right? I think that's all.
Hmm.
That's all I got.
But he only does like bad people.
Oh, sure. I mean,
He and Clarice actually end up together. It's actually a very unknown thing. Yeah, a lot of people just like the movies, but they don't read the books. The ending of the Hannibal movie is wildly different than the book, but they
oh,
actually just kind of run away together. So like sometimes when I hear like do dark romance
mm-hmm.
summaries, I'm like, I wonder because like especially Dark Academia, like the actual book Hannibal, a lot of it takes place in Italy. And I'm
Ooh,
like, I feel like I could get some dark romance girlies into Hannibal Lecter,
but
but
I'm
I
like,
feel like they hear that and they're like, no, 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 no.
I was just telling my husband I'm reading Caught Up by Nevessa Allen, and I was like, I don't know how I feel about stalking, and he was like, hmm. I was like, not in real life, but I don't know if it works for me. And he was like, how interesting.
But it's kind of like also a checklist because I think one of the things, like romance, I will read them. Like they're not my go-to, but I do have a respect for it because like it gives you unique perspectives. It's like,
Hmm.
oh, I never thought like a relationship could be like XYZ. Some of them I think are like a little unbelievable, but it's
Yes.
still like for like the ones that I feel like are very for the ones that are super popular, I feel like there's a grounded truth in there. And that's
Hmm.
why a lot of people are like attracted to it because they see it.
Hmm.
Um, but I do think that's like one of the qualities of romance. I really do like it gives people perspective in a very approachable way because everyone wants to see people be happy, even if they have to go through like a bunch of trauma to get there.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you had to give a book that like described you, your vibe, get to know me through this one book, what would it be and why?
Oh my gosh, what a hard question. Um, Fiction or nonfiction?
Ooh, can I have both? Am I allowed
Yeah.
to ask for both? You have to keep me in line here. I'm still new at this whole hosting a podcast thing.
I would say I read Picture Perfect by Tessa Bailey. It's the third or fourth book in a series. I don't remember which one. And I just love that the main female character is not like 5'2" and little. Is like a collegiate softball player. She's super good and she is like athletic. She's type A. She's organized. She's like got goals and ambition and drive. And so I think that that feels good to see reflected in a romance book. And um, I can't believe it's almost like an enemies to lovers, and I just said I don't always like those. But she doesn't take shit from any of the people around her, but she also has some anxiety and some wanting to be the best, and it's hard when it's not perfect. And there's lots of character growth, and also her beau ends up like standing up for her to her family, and so I just feel like there was lots of different layers. But she didn't have to go through like some grand transformation to become a confident woman, which I liked.
Hmm.
So maybe that character from Picture Perfect.
Okay.
Um, I don't know that this is like me, but Rachel Hollis just wrote a book called What If You Are the Answer? And by just wrote a book, I mean like within the last 2 years. Who knows when it came out? But I just really loved that it reframed things and gave the reader a chance to reflect personally on how they could reach their goals or how they can reframe their vision, or just it kind of put the reader back in the driver's seat and having control in their life. And I just really
Mhm.
appreciate that. I feel like there are not very many books in my life that I'll reread just because there are so many to read that I don't know that I will value rereading things. I don't necessarily have a comfort read, but
Mhm.
I just could see myself going back to that because it is just such a good book that feels like it will be applicable in whatever season you read it.
And I think too on Bookstagram, like some people laugh off that like self-help books are like garbage. And like to me it's like, okay, but that's like what Bookstagram's about. Like there's some people that do like I before I have my job now, I worked at a Fortune 500 company
Okay.
and I was your definition of burnt out. I was having anxiety attacks. I was physically, mentally, emotionally struggling. Um, and somehow, with the support of my now husband, I got through that. I found a much better job. I'm much happier now. But I think just last year, I found a book called The Cure for Burnout.
Oh.
And I really wish I had that back then because, like, it's like the perfect explanation of, like, are you going through this? Do you feel like this? This is kind of how the world is set. But, like, these are the things, like, within your control. So, kind of like that, where it's like, what can we do? Like, what? And stuff like that. Like, I think by saying like, oh, I only read fiction, I think there's an opportunity missed there.
Sure,
Um,
yeah.
and I have to say this because I know my husband's gonna watch this later. When we got engaged, he was like, I want us to be on the same page about finances. I found this guy called Dave Ramsey.
Yes.
I listened to him on the radio and I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. What reference material does this man have? And so I
Mhm.
actually read The Total Money Makeover. That way
Mhm.
I could have like an intelligent conversation about those concepts. And like, do we follow that perfectly? No, but like at least I was able to understand in my own way. Like I don't listen to radio shows very often, but like at least I could meet him halfway and be like, okay, I understand what you're talking about now. Like, let's
Mhm.
actually sit down and discuss this. So I think that people that write off nonfiction are missing out.
Yeah, I agree. I also think it's a really fun way to learn more about yourself. Like what are you interested in? Because there's nonfiction about everything. And so self-help is like the typical big nonfiction piece, or maybe autobiographies or biographies. But I mean, I've read lots of Dave Ramsey, and Vivian too is your rich BFF, and she has published one book and she's coming out with another one. And so it just feels good to learn from people that you respect. I mean, I found Vivian on Instagram. And so to learn from her and then read her book, it feels like you're talking to a friend more than you're talking to, like, I can Google Roth IRA or I can read her book about it, you know? And so I feel like there are nonfiction books out there for everyone. So it's just a matter of finding what you want.
And I still think like you can learn from fiction. That's like one of the things I'm kind of passionate about. Like you do learn from fiction, but there's also like, you know, there's some abstraction. Like, no, we can't all defeat a Vern and like
Yeah.
get like possessed and like a bunch of people just raise us from the dead. Like we're not gonna pull that. I mean, if you do, hats off to you. I just don't I don't see it in my future.
Hmm.
But reading someone that's like, hey, like I'm in this world that you're in your reality and like this is my take on whatever, whether it be self-help or like a cookbook or whatever, like I think there's opportunities there.
I have to know, do you feel like you like take on the persona of the main character you're reading about?
I
Is that a
don't I don't hot take. I'm a critic of characters. It's very hard for me to love a character.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
have you read the whole A Court of Thorns and Roses series?
Yes.
How do you feel about Nesta?
Oh, I feel like the internet is gonna come after me for no matter what I say.
Okay,
I would say I feel like indifferent feels wrong. Like I feel like I get it.
Hmm.
I might not have made those choices, but like, everybody's point of view is different. Everybody needs a villain in their story. I feel like I was like, I'm here for, I don't feel super strongly either way. Maybe I should say that.
Okay, well, the
What do
internet will just
you
come from me instead. That's fine.
think?
I have I liked where she ended up. I think that's fitting. My problem with her is she seemed as very Feyre at the end. It was
Mm,
like I was reading. I think that was part of like the sacrifices she went through, especially for her friends at the end. But I was like, okay, now I'm having a hard time having the difference between these two sister characters. Like they kind of blended together. And
sure.
so like if I even breathe, which is probably like one of those like hot takes we should talk about. Like I wish the community was more seek to understand because like I don't immediately like blast Nesta like oh like she's trash and SJM blah 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 but like I will be like I'm having a hard time like understanding the difference between her personality now
Hmm.
and maybe Feyre on a bad day that just wants to be a little bit more quiet than usual because now like they're both
Yeah.
overpowered in their own way. So yeah, the Instagram, book talk, booktube, they'll all come after me, I think you're saying. But I do like her though. There are instances of her I like. I like her as a character. I liked the journey, but like as I'm reading, I didn't embody it. I was actually like a little bit more confused at the end. Like, okay, what
Yeah.
do we do now?
Yeah. I think that I don't necessarily embody, but if I'm like reading a romance with a super confident main female character, I'm like, yeah, I am pretty hot, aren't I? Or if I'm reading a thriller and there's like, you see from the perspective of like the bad guy. I'm trying to think. I think it's Butcher and the Wren or Butcher Games where there's like a perspective from the main character and then also the guy who is like stalking her slash trying to kill her. You should probably put it on your TBR. I
Yes.
remember being like, did we lock the doors? Are you sure? Like, what's that sound? And Riley would be like, please go to bed. I was like, I just, oh.
And like meanwhile, like I talk to my husband and he'll be like, "What's going on in your read?" I'm like, "Oh, it was great. They had like this gory scene." And I'm like, "Oh, do you wish I was like a romancer?" And I'd be like, "They looked in each other's eyes and they fell in love and they overcame the obstacles." And he's like, "Nah, that's not you."
No.
But no, I do get that too, because like you know what? I actually and this is one of the things you learn from books, like so I have an almost 3-year-old. Everything goes in the mouth. Like
Mhm.
anything she can get her hands on. And I read Two Kinds of Stranger by Steve Kavanaugh. And basically, it's like a frame for two murders. But the way that they did it is that eye drops have this sort of chemical in it,
Mhm.
where obviously, if you put them in your eye as intended, that's great. But if you actually consume even the smallest bit of eye drops, if they have that certain type of ingredient, you can
Mhm.
die.
Oh.
And my husband uses them because he had LASIK a few years ago. And now I am like so paranoid
Mhm.
about, okay, where are the eye drops? Like they have to be way up high that she can't reach. So I don't, I definitely change my attitude too, depending on what I'm reading, because what I'm taking in. But I think I've just started locking my door so long ago because I've been reading thrillers and horrors. That's just like second nature to me now.
Yes.
Okay. So, hot take, what are you currently reading and how are you feeling about it?
Mm. So I'm reading Caught Up and I am enjoying it. I definitely, hmm. There are times where I'm like, why does he have to stalk her? I mean, that's just how it works. It's just a dark romance, and so it's fine. But I am enjoying it. I'm trying to think what else. I just recently finished Lady of Darkness by Melissa K. Roerich, and I am really excited to start the second book. I had a couple that are like due back to the library, and so I was like, I need to prioritize you. So I did, but I'm excited to get back to that series also. What are you reading right now?
I am currently, oh, and I'm giving, so, and if I pronounce this wrong, I'm sorry. Geneva Rose, author of
Geneva.
Geneva, thank you.
Hmm.
Appreciate you so much. I read Perfect Marriage. I was not happy. I'm
Yeah.
reading Home is Where the Bodies Are. I'm like 100 pages in.
You like it better?
I like it better.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful.
I liked
I'm
that one.
hopeful. Okay, okay. So, but I'm also listening because you got me on audiobooks
Yeah.
and your girl's trying to be a multitasking girly. I'm reading Matthew Perry's autobiography. Um, and it's interesting, especially since he's narrating it, since he unfortunately passed away.
Hmm.
Um, it is, I mean, I knew his struggles with addiction and things like that, but it is eerie hearing it
Sure.
from his own voice. And
Hmm.
but I really admired him on Friends, like Chandler Bing as a character, like was the one I related to most. I
Hmm.
cried when I found out he passed away. Um, so I'm surprisingly really enjoying it. I'm enjoying it more than I thought I would, but also at the same time, it is heavy as hell.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yes. I think that brings up a good point. Jumping back to the nonfiction, I really enjoy reading or listening to books that the author has read. So, like Brene Brown or Jen Hatmaker, or I mean, a bunch of people, or even like Kevin Hart or Jim Gaffigan. They like read their own books, and it's just so much funnier when they read it themselves, or, more vulnerable or relatable because they know exactly where they wanted their inflection to be, or they know they're
Yes.
like telling the story, and it feels like you're just sitting across from them at the table. And so I would say for your audiobook journey, if you're enjoying this nonfiction, you should think about other nonfictions because it just feels almost more podcast like, or
Yes.
even like radio show. So yeah, I enjoy that aspect of nonfiction when I listen to the audiobooks.
Well, I'm gonna have to look at your Goodreads now that we're friends on Goodreads and see if
Yes.
there's any that you've read that I can pick up after when I'm done. Oh, actually, no, I owe you Butcher and
Blackbird, yes.
okay. No,
Yeah.
that's I've already committed. I'm doing like to the world on YouTube, I'm announcing Butcher and Blackbird. It's happening. For all the people that have recommended Butcher and Blackbird, shame on you for not bringing up that there's cannibalism in it, kind of a little bit, but like that's all you would have to say in order for me to read that. Like everyone else who's recommended that to me, do you not know me? Amanda knows me. She gets it. But yeah, when you said that, I was like, say less. Like I'm in.
I also think that you will enjoy all of her trigger warnings at the beginning. I mean, it's just like a full screen, a full page of like all the things. And it's also somehow not quite too spoilery,
Okay.
you know. It's like almost enjoyable. And she's notorious for ruining at least one food in every book. So there's that for you to look forward to.
So do you have any questions for me? You said you did.
Yeah, I do. Okay, first of all, I don't have a Kindle. Do you have a Kindle? Do you like what you have? What would you recommend? I read on like an old Fire tablet because it's what I
Hmm.
have, or my phone, but I feel like I'm reading enough ebooks these days that I would really enjoy having a Kindle. So, what do you recommend? Or maybe what do you not recommend? That would be helpful too.
So I struggle. I like the whole like I can quote and send it to Goodreads on the but like Goodreads, like honestly, Amazon owns you. Amazon, like what are you doing with Goodreads? That's a whole other ramble. So I do have the Paperwhite. I had like the OG Paperwhite with the buttons
Hmm.
forever, and then someone borrowed it and they lost it.
They lost it?
Yeah. And so they bought me a brand new Paperwhite.
Okay, we forget.
Um So I really like the Paperwhite because I have a thing about screens. I work in IT. Maybe I'm just a little anal, but I like how it's less glaring
Mm-hmm.
because the screen is so different. Um, I don't like using the Kindle app on like an iPad or my iPhone. Just I don't like the contrast is jarring even when I use dark mode. And
Mm-hmm.
so sometimes like I get eye strain. I did see that they just came out with Color Soft, which is like Paperwhite but with like color, but they're charging also a lot of money for that.
Okay.
In my opinion, I was like, oh, that's a bold price tag to put on that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I do like my Kindle, especially for my ARCs from NetGalley.
Yes.
Um, it's really convenient because like they're smaller, and then also like with this, it's like the notifications are always popping off. But like
Yes.
with the Kindle, it's like I'm reading, like with my book. Um, so, I do enjoy it. I go back and forth if I prefer it over an actual book, but like it definitely serves a purpose and I definitely
Mhm.
enjoy it.
Yeah, I feel like I've officially hit the point with the like Fire tablet that I'm like, oh, I like this enough, and it is nice to be fully disconnected from the internet, my phone. Like there are no notifications distracting me, but it's just so bulky. I'm like my hand kind of hurts after I hold it for a while, and I gotta read longer, so I need something that's smaller and lighter than my big old tablet I've been holding.
Well, yeah, it's quite thin. I have a cover on it and like I've seen a section of like book online where like they decorate it with the Kindles and the stickers and the charms and like I'm not a creative person. Like reading is as close as and this podcast probably is as close to creative as I get. Like I'm not a crafty person, but like I see people do that. I'm like, "Oh, that is really cute." So, there is if that's something that you're interested in too, like I've seen a lot of people do that and I think it's really cute.
Yes. Yeah, I don't want to lie. I also am interested in a clear case so that I can do something with my stickers.
Oh my gosh, you should. I would actually really enjoy seeing you change those out with your sense of humor.
Yeah, me and my sassy stickers.
You gotta do it for me. I'm not a crafty girl. One of us has to do it. You gotta do it. So now I'm telling you, you should get a Kindle. You put it on your wish list for Christmas.
Deal.
Okay.
Christmas.
Yes.
For all of my family watching. Kindle, thank you.
Kindle,
Okay.
recommended by Kendall. There we
Yeah,
go.
perfect. Do you use your local library? Do you have a library card?
No,
What?
I don't. Um, I go to like local bookstores or used like there's a huge used bookstore here in my city, Jacksonville, Florida, where it's Chambliss Book Mine. And this thing is like a fire code hazard when you walk in. I'm like I see other people that are like, look at this used secondhand bookstore in my city. But this thing is like you think it's made out of books. It's insane. So I usually go there just to
Hmm.
like thrift and do stuff, but like no, I don't use Libby. I hear people talk about their passion about Libby holds and stuff like that, but I am not a library girly.
You should at least consider. I save a lot of money. As a Dave girly, you should probably consider the library because you can borrow books and not pay for them.
That is true. That is true. And to be fair, I probably have not stepped foot in the library since 20 years, like to actually use it. So it's probably a better experience than previously, but no, I don't and I shouldn't. One of my friends, Alex, is like a big advocate for like Libby in your library. And Alex, like I know, like you and Amanda probably could just shame talk me to death.
I also really I use it. So I have two kids, and I use our library to request all of the books because kids' books can be so expensive and they're really not that long, even if they're wonderful. I mean, and so I will go into my local bookstore and I'll buy maybe one book and then I like take a picture of the display and I'm like request, request, request because then you can request
Mm.
$300 worth of books for Thanksgiving or Halloween or whatever. I mean, niche little thing they're interested in. We had a big Wild Kratts kick at our house, and I could just like go through the library app and request a whole slew of them, but not sink like hundreds of dollars into a new book interest that we have, and then we can send them right back. Or and re-request them if you want, but it has been a game changer because I feel like I'm like the fun mom who's like, let's go to the library and see what requests have come in. So,
You know what? When she gets a little older, I'm probably gonna have to do that because like right now, so what I did was for my baby shower, she's my first and only. I was like, I don't want a card, like provide a book and like write something in the cover. And like that
mhm.
really has meant a lot for me. Like when I read her bedtime story, although tonight Nathan did. Like seeing it's from that friend or family member because she's almost 3. She wants
Mhm.
llama llama red pajama every night. Like it doesn't
Yes.
matter. So like I feel like when she gets older and she's gonna want like a variety, like that's probably gonna be a pro move and I need to get my
Yes.
butt down to the library.
10 out of 10 would recommend. I'm actually on the board at my local library, so that's part of why I love asking.
I saw your post
Yeah.
a few days ago, so as soon as you asked me, I was like, oh God, she's on the board of her library too, but I have to be honest.
Yes, you do.
Like I
And
would
it's
never lie to you.
okay. I just think that it's a really good resource and it can be fun. It also plugs you in. I'm on the material selection committee, which is just a fancy
Mhm.
way of saying I get to take a huge list of books that recently published to our head librarian and be like, I think we should buy all of these. And she's like, Amanda, we cannot buy 80 books every month. And I'm like, okay.
Do you guys do the book sales? Like I know here where like when they're trying to clear out old inventory, like you could buy a big paper bag for like $15 and just fill it up with books. Like do you guys do that too?
Yes, we normally do it on like our citywide yard sale because we live in a small enough place that we will take them all outside and line them on tables. And I think we normally do $1 a book, which is it's fun to look through. It's a little dangerous to look through, but it's good. Yeah.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, I need to get my act together and get to the library because I know
Yeah.
that's coming because I she falls asleep with her books too. So like I know that she's a bookworm in the making, so
Hmm.
I plan on supporting that.
Absolutely. I love that. Um, okay. I'm trying to think what else. Do you have any book red flags as a reader?
I do. Usually this red flag I don't know about it until it's too late, but like I hate when people are like, my book is twisty. And it's like this twist that is just off the vibe, inauthentic, too left field. Like
Mm-hmm.
I feel cheated as a reader when that happens. Like with me
Mm-hmm.
reading thriller books, like it's always that's kind of like my mind game of like, okay, what's going on? Who did what? I want and so if it's something that's so ridiculously stupid and like you can't see it coming, it's kind of like I feel cheated. It's like and none of it makes sense.
Yes, yeah.
So I it also comes off as like lazy in my
Okay.
opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a actually I actually got into it. Well, I didn't get into it, but I got a lot of hate from my comment. There's a very popular romancy series where the most recent book ends on a wicked cliffhanger.
What is it?
What is it? Onyx Storm?
Oh, oh, uh-huh, sure.
And I'm like, that seemed really lazy to me.
Oh, okay.
And people are like, no, 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 it's a build up for whatever. I'm like, yeah, but like she could have did it
Mm-hmm.
have to be that? Like that was intentionally like a jab, I think, to the readers that didn't necessarily have to happen.
Mm,
So yeah, that was my hot take that got me in trouble too.
yeah.
Like I'm
I
telling you,
feel
I'm a very analytical critique of books. Like there's very few characters where I'm like, oh, I love her.
mm-hmm. I feel like maybe I'm the opposite because I'm like all vibes. I'm like, this is great. Onyx Storm. I was like, all right, what's next? You know, like I enjoy it. And I feel like I'm not too critical until I am, and then I'm like, this is the dumbest book I've ever read. I remember a book that I will not name, but I was like, it was a thriller-y, mystery kind of basically this couple had accidentally killed someone and they were like trying to dispose of the body. And I was like, this is not how that would work. You're getting caught. I was like, this, why are you moving the car again? This is a bad plan. I was like, why are you breaking into the, I was like, and so the whole time I was like, this is so stupid. I was like, are we going to get caught? Is that where the book is going to end at?
I have to like pull up my Goodreads because like I think I know the book you're talking about. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, if I can name the title, like I want to know if I'm right. Hold
Yes.
on.
So I feel like I agree. To go back to what you were saying, I feel like Agatha Christie did a really nice job of like all of the clues are there. You should be able to figure out who did it and what's coming and what the twist is. And a handful of authors that I read now, like Ruth Ware specifically, tries to emulate that. And that if you're reading it, you probably should be able to figure out what's coming most of the time. And in this book, I was like, this is dumb. No, you should be caught. No, not that one.
Oh,
But it does
it's
have the word couple in the title.
yeah,
So,
basically like it's a they're trying to the husband messes up and accidentally hits someone with the car and like they're constantly dealing with the freaking car and like you I'm like this would never work and they're like no no
uh-huh,
no she's a nurse like she knows how to clean up and I'm like no 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 no
uh-huh.
so I feel you there like I you know like there's some things I'll critique and it's like but I still enjoy it but there's like
Mhm.
some things where I'm like dead stop like this is not
Yes.
this is ridiculous.
Hmm. Yep. Yeah. Or I'm thinking of another book that I didn't finish, and it was the Enemies to Lovers, Not Really. I was like, this is not real. This is made up. You can be I was like, we're done. You can actually be together. I don't need to read the rest of this. Just be adults and agree to date and tell your people. It doesn't matter.
I love how you're like, this is not real, this is made up, but then like you open up Onyx Storm about dragon riders and like all of these realms and their
Yeah.
superhero ability.
Absolutely. Yes. My dragon would absolutely be huge.
This is what we call range. But no, I for book club, so half the books that I post about that like aren't in my genre, they're because of like a book club that I was in, and they were the ones that made me read A Man Called Ove, which made me cry, but they were the
Uh-huh.
ones that also made me read Fourth Wing. And I
Hmm.
was really excited about Fourth Wing because I was like chapter one and we've got a dead body. Like this is actually pretty satisfying. I still think the first book is the best,
Yeah. Yeah.
but we had like this thing of like what quadrant do you think
Hmm.
you'd be in? And I was like, yeah, I'd probably be like in the healer's quadrant because like I like the idea of like helping people and saving people. And everyone was like, nah, you're gonna be a writer. And I was the only one. They were like, you're in the writer's quadrant. I'm like, I don't think you guys understand. I hate cardio. It's not gonna work out.
This is not for me, actually.
And I love Tarn, is that how you pronounce it? You gotta
I
keep me
think
in
so,
line.
yeah.
He's my favorite. I need
Hmm.
more him. Like I need more dragon content in that book. Like, it's just
Hmm.
not satisfying enough.
Hmm.
But I have like my own opinions that get me in trouble about that series. I don't think it holds a candle to A Court of Thorns and Roses.
Yeah, I think they're very different. I'm really looking forward to Rebecca Yarros finishing the series because I
Yes.
feel like there were some points at the during throughout the ACOTAR series where I was like, "Oh, I need the next book," and it's just available, or even like Throne of
Mm,
Glass where it like ends on a cliffhanger and you like knock on your best friend's door and say, "Give me that next book, please," or you order it from Amazon or however you get your books, and then you get to start it again right away, which makes it feel less like a jab. Like I wonder if you were able to read them all the way through, if you would still feel like that, because I feel like it's a nice hook where I'm like, I want to know what's happening. Where's my next book?
so I counter that.
Yes.
Have you read Crescent City?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. House of Wind, Wind and Sky, House of Wind and Sky. That cliffhanger, I was like, this is art.
Mm,
Like, this is the beginning of something that could be wonderful and great. And I literally, I was reading my book, I threw that, like, I don't know, it's a
uh-huh.
5,000 page, I threw that
Uh-huh.
huge ass thing down and I was like, I screamed, and my husband's like, what happened? I'm like, I can't even begin to tell you. Like,
Uh-huh.
the door that was just opened and she's just leaving us in the cold abyss, like waiting until the third book comes out. So, like,
Mhm.
I think
Yeah,
if
that's
it's
true. That's really.
fair,
Hmm.
but like I just feel like if I could see it actually leading to something,
Hmm.
but this is like okay, well, I don't want to spoil, but like even if we found out what exactly happened, okay,
Right.
that's just a scene. I don't know, maybe, maybe not. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I'll read the next book, and if I'm wrong, I'll admit it here.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
But that's also not my genre, and that's why I look forward to like your updates and stuff like that because sometimes this thriller and horror girly needs a reminder about other genres.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Good.
Are you good?
I think so.
Have I yapped your ear off sufficiently? We didn't even bash Done and Dusted too bad.
No, we didn't. We could have. Oh, this was so fun. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. And once again, like thank you so much for taking the time. Like I don't want to understate how much I appreciate everyone like who's interested, especially you, because when I thought about what I wanted to do, like you instantly came to mind. Like there was a handful of people I was like, I have to ask them. Like it's one thing to talk over instant messenger, but it's another to like hear your voice and like see our reactions. And
Hmm.
I do think there's like a genuine friendship part of this.
Hmm.
That's why we do what we do to reach out and find other people. So like being able to explore that and like you being willing to talk about your stuff, like I'm really so thankful and I mean that.
Yeah, I'm happy to do it.
Mhm.
Thanks. I'm
Thank
also
you.
happy to do it again. I don't know, whenever you figure out your rhythm and what you're doing, I'm I'm still game, so as long as I don't sound too dumb in the end.
What I'm hearing is if people actually wanted to hear us bash Done and Dusted, go ahead and leave a comment. But no, I would not be surprised if we talked again soon because I just I forget who DM'd who, but like just it's like what we at least like check in every day.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, like it's just some of these friendships just come really naturally, and I think that's like one of the things I think to me that's like one of the most beautiful things about this corner of the internet is like how genuine the friendships are. And I think that's why I chose to do this podcast because it's like this is something special, and it's like you don't get that when you talk to publishers and you talk to authors. Like that's why I want to talk to people that are actively part of this community because like this is something not highlighted, but this is something so very special, and I think more people should be aware of.
Yeah. I agree.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Have a good night.
Yeah, you're welcome. See ya.
Bye.